Level 1. Muslim by name. Level 1. Muslim is someone who carries Islam as an identity but not as a daily lifestyle. He'll say, "I'm Muslim" with confidence, yet if you look at his day, you won't find Islam shaping his choices. Salah isn't a habit. Ramadan might pass with a random effort. Most of his knowledge is surface level. The dangerous part about this level is that it feels normal. He doesn't feel like he's losing anything, so he doesn't rush to change. But even here, the door is still open, because the seed of faith is there, waiting for something to wake it up. Level 2. Seasonal Muslim. A level 2. Muslim isn't disconnected like the first. There is belief and there is effort, but it comes in seasons. At certain times, Islam feels close. Ramadan arrives and suddenly the prayers return, the Quran opens, and the heart softens. Fridays matter. Religious reminders feel good. For a while, things change, but once the season passes, so does the consistency. Worship rises with the environment and falls when it fades. Outside of those moments, Islam slowly moves back to the background, competing with comfort, habits, and routine. This Muslim wants to be better, but only when the surroundings support it. Alone, the discipline disappears. The danger of this level isn't rejection, it's dependence. Faith exists, but it depends on time, mood, and atmosphere. Growth never stabilizes because commitment hasn't become personal yet. Islam is present, but only when it's convenient. Level 3. The struggling Muslim. A level 3 Muslim knows the truth and feels its weight. Islam is no longer distant or seasonal. It is present in his mind every day. He understands what Allah asks from him, and he genuinely wants to comply. Prayers are mostly there, but consistency is fragile. Some days are strong and disciplined. Others fall apart under habit, desire, or exhaustion. He fasts Ramadan fully, avoids what he knows is clearly forbidden, and yet still finds himself returning to the same mistakes. What defines this level is not ignorance and not rebellion, but conflict. There is effort, followed by failure, then regret, then renewed intention. Guilt is constant, not because faith is weak, but because conscience is alive. The heart still responds to reminders, still feels discomfort after sin, still hopes for change. If you've made it to this point in the video, pause for a second and be honest with yourself. Which level are you at right now? Write it in the comments. If you recognize yourself in this level, leave a like and subscribe so you can continue this journey with me. The danger of this level is staying here and calling struggle normal. This stage is meant to be crossed, not lived in permanently. If progress doesn't follow struggle, stagnation slowly replaces it. Level 4. The practicing Muslim. At this level, Islam becomes part of the daily structure of life. The Muslim here fulfills what is obligatory with consistency. The 5 daily prayers are established, not perfect, but present and non-negotiable. Ramadan is observed fully. Major sins are avoided consciously, and halal and haram begin to guide real choices, not just speech. This Muslim knows the basics well and applies them correctly. Faith no longer depends on mood or environment. It is carried through routine. Life starts to organize itself around worship instead of fitting worship into free time. From the outside, this looks like commitment, and it is. But the challenge of this level is subtle. Practice can become mechanical, and discipline can slowly replace presence. Actions are correct, but intention is not always examined. Growth can pause here if effort stops at obligation. This level represents stability, but stability alone is not completion. It is the point where Islam is practiced properly but not yet lived deeply. Level 5. The conscious Muslim. At this level, the Muslim begins to act with awareness, not just obedience. Worship is no longer performed only because it is required, but because its meaning is understood. Prayers are guarded more carefully, not just in number, but in presence. Actions start to carry intention, and intention starts to matter as much as the action itself. This Muslim pays attention to what enters his heart, his mind, and his time. He becomes selective about habits, company, and influences because he understands their effect on faith. Knowledge increases not for status, but for clarity. Mistakes still happen, but they are recognized faster and corrected sooner. Islam here is no longer something practiced on the outside, it becomes something monitored on the inside. Growth at this level is quieter but deeper. The focus shifts from simply doing the right things to becoming the right person. Level 6. The influential Muslim. At this level, Islam stops being something you work on in private only and starts showing in the way people experience you. This Muslim isn't influential because he's loud or because he posts reminders every day. He's influential because his character is consistent when nobody is watching. When someone speaks badly, he doesn't join in. When money is involved, he stays honest even if it costs him. When he's angry, he controls his tongue. People begin to trust him because his behavior is predictable in the best way. His worship is strong, but what makes him level 6 is that his worship produces benefit beyond himself. If a new Muslim enters the masjid confused, he doesn't just say welcome and walk away. He stays, shows him how to make wudu, teaches him how to pray step by step, and checks on him later without making him feel small. If a brother is drowning in a sin, he doesn't expose him or shame him. He speaks to him privately, gives him a practical way out, and stays present until the brother stands up again. If there's a family conflict, he doesn't choose sides emotionally. He listens, calms the situation, and tries to repair because he cares about unity more than winning an argument. His charity isn't only money. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's effort, sometimes it's carrying burdens nobody sees. He visits the sick when others say, "I'll make dua," and forget. He helps someone find work, not with promises, but with real action. He serves the community quietly, cleaning after events, driving someone home, supporting a struggling family without needing praise. Even online, if he speaks politely, avoids drama, avoids arrogance, and doesn't chase attention. The main test of this level is that influence attracts ego. People start thanking him, asking him, leaning on him, and that can corrupt the heart if he's not careful. So the level 6 Muslim fights a new battle, staying sincere while becoming useful. He constantly checks himself. Am I doing this for Allah or for how people see me? And the more he's tested, the more he returns to humility. Because at this stage, Islam isn't just improving your life, it's making you a source of guidance, safety, and benefit for others. Level 7, the complete Muslim. At this level, Islam is no longer something the Muslim balances with life. It becomes the framework through which life is lived. Worship, knowledge, character, and service are no longer separate efforts, they move together naturally. This Muslim guards his prayers carefully, not just in time and form, but in presence and humility. The Quran is not only memorized or recited, it is understood, returned to, and applied. When he speaks, his words reflect knowledge. When he acts, his actions reflect sincerity. What distinguishes this level is integration. His faith shows in how he treats his family, how he conducts business, how he responds under pressure, and how he behaves when no one is watching. If he disagrees, he remains just. If he's wronged, he doesn't rush to retaliation. If he's given authority, he carries it as a responsibility, not a privilege. People feel safe around him because his principles don't change with circumstances. His knowledge is rooted, but it doesn't create arrogance. He teaches when needed, stays silent when silence is better, and knows the limits of what he knows. When asked for advice, he doesn't rush to answer. He weighs the impact of his words. When he gives charity, it's consistent and discreet. When he helps, he does it in a way that preserves dignity. His service is not seasonal or emotional, it's steady. This Muslim understands that completeness doesn't mean perfection. He still makes mistakes, but they are followed by immediate correction, sincere repentance, and learning. His focus is not on appearing righteous, but on remaining sincere. He measures success not by recognition, but by whether his actions are accepted by Allah. His life becomes quiet, evidence of Islam lived properly balanced, grounded, disciplined, and compassionate. This level is rare not because it is unreachable, but because it requires long-term commitment without shortcuts. It is the result of years of consistency, self-accountability, and choosing obedience, even when it is unseen and uncelebrated. The complete Muslim is not someone who claims arrival, but someone who never stops refining his relationship with Allah. And now that you've seen the 7 levels, take a moment to reflect on your own journey, because every level represents a direction, and every direction shapes where you're heading. So ask yourself honestly, which level are you at right now? And which one do you want to move toward? Share your answer in the comments. You never know who might recognize themselves through it. May Allah guide us forward, strengthen our sincerity, and raise us closer to Him step by step. Assalamu alaykum.